Hello, everyone out there, and welcome back to the Elite Racing Network tonight for the 2022 B Mrs. Goodies Grand National Series race live from Red Bull. Got a road course tonight, not a typical road course that we see in NASCAR. A lot of guys don't have a lot of track time here at this place, so should be a pretty exciting race for us to see tonight. What do you think, Robert? You think we're going to see a first-time winner or an old road course veteran take the win tonight?
Yeah, Chris, I definitely think after looking at practice here for the last hour, I think it's going to be really hard to bet against guys like David Tooker and RC Anderson. But if anyone else aside from those two is going to take the victory tonight, I think it's going to come between Ethan Stanley, Tyler Fode, and Chad Frankenfield. Those three are all fairly strong on these road courses. And, Ethan, he was runner-up when we were here just a few weeks ago with the Formula One series, and he might use that experience to help him here this evening.
Yeah, I think our typical guys are going to be the guys to watch that, we typically see on these run good on these road courses. RC's typically pretty good. Chad's pretty good. Fode's pretty good. Maybe we'll get a couple ringers like you mentioned. Everybody we typically see at road courses run well is who I think we are going to see tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's it's a fairly short race in lap length, but time-wise, still about an hour and a half that we're going to be on the circuit this evening with 47 laps, Chris, and the only anticipated caution we're expecting is that fun flag on lap 12, and just like we did last week, we will have a playoff point to the leader of that. But one thing that may come into play for some of these guys that aren't really road course experts is we do only have 3 sets of tires, Chris, as we can see on the infographic there. 3 sets of tires is might seem like quite a bit for 47 laps, but if it was me out there, I'd definitely be tearing through those rubbers rather quickly.
Yeah, I think the theory is you'll probably pit at the stage, and I'm not sure about the fuel windows. I'm guessing in the stock car, I'm guessing we could probably make it to the end from the stage. You'll probably only use 1 set. Some guys might split up the second, especially if you can't make it on fuel. But I would venture to say, unless you are really struggling and not running well, you're using 1 or 2 sets of tires tonight. Everybody will leave here with a set in the pits for the most part.
Yeah, definitely. Strategy is going to be a thing that we're going to see all throughout. But most likely, like you said, we will see them pit around that stage break there. We may see someone pit a little bit early, as we saw last week, where who the leader was there. Might have been Hooker, actually, or Weeks. Or was it RC? Either way.
Oh, I believe it was RC pitted.
Yeah, I think it was RC.
He was 300 yards from the stage point, and RC was like, "Hey, I'm getting out of this. I don't even want the point."
Yeah, there was definitely a questionable move there, but as we have about 2 minutes left here in qualifying, Chris, why don't we just take a quick look at our points heading into tonight? Our points leader here overall, Scott Crump with 52 points. That's a 4-point lead over Latham Joyner. 7 points over RC Anderson, and then it's still very tight between 4th, 5th, and 6th with Gerald Campbell, Tyler Fode, and Chad Frankenfield. Chad Thurnquist, Trevor Elam, David Tooker, and Johnny Thomas rounding out the top 10. Definitely still early in this season, but every point matters, and you might see someone try to play some strategy game to have the best shot at that playoff point midway. Just see what they can do. But we also have another little points race here with our rookie year point. Latham Joyner leading that one by 6 points over Jacob Adams. Then it's 16 points to Josh Robbins. Sorry, 14 points to Jacob Adams. 16 to Josh Robbins. Kynan Jones there with 18 points. Ethan Stanley 17. That's Brandon Ultra, Cody Harrington, Jake Finch, Cash James, Tyler Pop. Rounding out the top 10 with Justin Vandermeer, Patrick Hahey, and Michael Klein. Rounding out that field there of 13 rookies that we've seen so far this season. As we wrap up qualifying just about here, David Tooker remains at the top, Chris, and like we said, he's going to be strong.
Yeah, if I had to guess, Scott Crump's coming in here with the point lead. He will probably not leave here with the point lead. I look at a guy like RC is probably going to be the guy that win the stage. And like you said, I think the strategy of this race breaks down to if you can make it on fuel from stage break. If it's really close, you have to pit at that stage break, and it's really close, you might pit at that stage break, stay out. But if nobody can make it, or if you think it's a benefit to get tires, you could pit before that stage break, try to jump the track position, and see if you can hang on in the top 10, and maybe everybody pits about halfway through that second stage. It'll be really, really interesting. I've only seen this track in an F1 car. As you know, we broadcasted the last F1 race until we get back going this weekend. So I think it'll be very interesting seeing some of these guys seeing this place for the first time, and everybody seeing it for the first time in a stock car.
Yeah, I know there's definitely been some nerves so far this evening. I was able to hang around with a couple guys during practice, and some guys were really questioning the track choice here tonight. But as we saw in the Formula One race, it did really put on some good racing as qualifying wraps up here. David Tooker taking the pole. I think it's going to be an interesting race here tonight, Chris, and I'm excited to see what they can do.
Yeah, I kind of I say what I think about these things, so I'm gonna state my opinion. I do think there are better choices they could have went than Red Bull. There's so many tracks that NASCAR runs on the road course side that I feel like if you wanted to throw something at them, you could have thrown Suzuka, somewhere that they've actually ran. Watkins Glen's a great track, Sonoma, Coda. There's a lot of tracks that NASCAR has ran at or does run at now that they could have chose. I don't know if this was necessarily the best choice for them, because they come here and they don't have a setup, and there's a lot that goes into making a setup work around some of these places, especially a lot of elevation changes. It is very unique, but we will see something new here. And real quick before we get going, I want to give a shout out to all of our sponsors. Of course, this is the Mrs. Goodies Grand National Series coming at you live from Red Bull Ring tonight. Mrs. Goodies. She does hooded towels, handmade items for babies, kids, you, and your home. You can contact her at miregoody@hotmail.com. And then all of our great partners, everybody at TA Services. They are for over 36 years. They have been a trusted domestic and international full-service third-party logistics provider offering freight brokerage, managed transportation, warehouse, and fulfillment. Blue Egg Marketing. They are your marketing department and for small business. And Britsicam. Britsicam is a venture-based tech company based in Toronto and Boston, and they are on a mission to reimagine the group photo experience. No race sponsor for tonight. It is the Red Bull Ring Stock Car Challenge. 47 laps, like you talked about. That fun flag we've got at, did you say it was lap 12? Right?
Yeah, end of lap 11, beginning of lap 12, they will throw the fun flag to re-rack them, restack them, and give everyone else a chance to get back with the...
Yeah, now, just looking here at the schedule, if you are a driver who does not care for road course racing or struggle, you're looking at this and you're like, man, I can't wait to get out of here. But then you're going right to Lucas Oil next week, a short track. So it's back-to-back weeks of just surviving here for some of these guys. And I want to give a shout-out to everybody at Elite Racing Network here, too, and Chad for the league he puts on. None of this happens without Dave. And, of course, you tonight being our producer, Robert. So shout-out to everybody at Elite Racing Network here as we start to roll and get ready to go green.
Absolutely, and they did give us a quick little pace lap here. So the pace car is actually going off right now. Take that grid off the screen here. These guys are coming around the final corner, getting ready to take the green flag here, Chris.
Yep, it should be pretty exciting. Here we come. Green flag is out. Yeah, Tooker, R.C. Anderson, Ethan Stanley, Tyler Fody, Tate Lytle, the top 5. 3 wide, some contact. We got a spinner. It's R.C. R.C.'s around on the very first corner. Oh, we've got a yellow. Well, that is unique. That is the first caution that I've seen on a road course.
I was just about to say the same thing here, Chris, as we'll go ahead and load that one up on the Whiskey Cast replay. Yeah, I've never seen a yellow flag on a road course here before, except for that fun flag, but I guess the officials thought the track was blocked. We'll take a look here, as I mentioned on the Whiskey Cast replay.
Yeah, I don't hate the yellow coming. Like, they get 3 wide down in there for second. and the 2 got into the 92, who got into the 50, and spun the 50, and he's just sitting there stopped. I don't hate the call. You know, I think there's going to be a lot of discussion about, hey, we don't throw yellows, and then you throw a manual yellow. So that's kind of that discussion, but I don't hate that yellow right there.
Yeah, I think what they're hoping for there with that yellow is to try to keep people from just piling in, because what you see so often is a caution or a wreck happen here on a road course, and everyone's just going to split and go full throttle trying to get around it. Everyone did a really good job of avoiding that wreck for the most part. But yeah, I think that yellow flag definitely kept it from being much worse than it could be. But that will be a really unfortunate start there for RC Anderson.
Yeah, it's yeah. My only argument there is by the time the yellow came, everybody was kind of gone, and he was rolling. So I don't hate the yellow. Maybe a little, a little quicker as soon as he comes to a stop there. But I get the intent there, and I get why they did it. But
yeah, definitely really tough, especially right on the start, to try to nail the yellow flag.
Will be very interesting though, because that is the guy. Very interesting to see how this works out, because that fun flag comes at lap 12. You're probably looking at restarting on lap 4 at this point, maybe later.
Yeah, it definitely takes a bit of time away there. As you mentioned, it might be lap 4 or later by the time we actually get going green in this one, really leaving them with only 7 or 8 laps to something to work their way up there. But it's going to definitely be interesting to see what these guys can do, especially if you're further back, because you're going to have to make quick work of these guys if you want that playoff point.
Yeah, I mean, if you want that playoff point, like you said, it's going to be very interesting. I almost would think about switching my strategy. If it's a one-stop race after the stage at this point, like if you are on that fuel number thinking you might not be able to make it, I would almost stay out at the stage at this point, because you're going to kill 4 or 5 laps here. I would just stay out and one-stop this race right about the middle instead of pitting at the stage and pitting again.
Yeah, I definitely think we may see some varying strategies as we do get ready to come green here shortly. One guy I'm looking at to really have a strategy from left field is Chad Thornquist in that 02 car. Almost every time I'm in a race with him on a road course, you'll see him do something out of left field totally different than everybody else. But it always seems to work, and he always seems to find his way back up to the top 5, top 10. Even if he's running 15th in the race, his strategy will get him up there. So I'm gonna say it now. Watch Chad Thornquist to do something much different than everyone else, and it'll actually benefit him in the end.
One interesting thing here, though, is I talk about RC being the guy to beat. Well, he's going to restart 27th.
Yeah, RC's way back here with the likes of Brent Jones, Richard Hines, Michael Goodman. He's going to have his work cut out for him here. He's going to have to pass a lot of guys to get up there. And, yeah, we have 44, 45 laps left in this race. Not a lot of time.
But you're guaranteed to get another caution, too. So you got less than 40 laps.
Yeah, exactly. And then, really, that caution after the fun flag, four laps or so. And you're going to have much less time to work your way up. And RC's definitely going to have to be strategic about his passes, because obviously, as Jacob Adams goes off track under pacing there, but you definitely don't want to get caught behind someone that's going to hold you up for too long, and you really obviously don't want to wreck. So you're going to have to be really strategic about what you do, as we'll watch for the lights to go off on the pace car here as we do come across the line. Lights are off, so we'll go green next time by here, Chris. It will be lap 5 when we go green. That's a big jump.
One thing I'll point out too, is RC's back there far enough to maybe, if everybody in front of him is deciding to do a one-stop, he could pit, because a lot of guys behind him are going to pit, so get a little fresher tires, not give up a whole lot of track position. RC's strategy has got to be, I got to make fast laps, and if all these guys are going to choose to stay out at the stage, maybe his best spot would be to pit and get himself fresh tires.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to watch. We'll keep an eye on RC Enerson just to see if he does do something a little bit different to try to get his way back up here, as he is way back there at this point in this one. But he is a professional for a reason, Chris, and I think we might watch him use his experience and work his way up here.
We are going to go green this lap.
Absolutely. As we watch the cars pacing there, David Tooker with a little blink out of the lead. Hopefully that issue does not expand any more than the odd blink that he's had here or there. That's an unfortunate side of iRacing for sure, but be interesting to see that throughout tonight's race. And I wonder if Tate Lytle might take a different approach to turn one this time, considering the incident that happened last time by with RC and Ethan Stanley there.
Yeah, that was just in crazy start. So I'm curious to see how this shakes out here. I'm excited to see how this shakes out. I'm excited to, the RC's probably just became the show.
Yeah, RC's definitely going to be one we're keeping an eye on throughout a good chunk of this race. We're going to definitely have to flip back and forth from him and the leaders, and any battle on the track, of course, as the pace car gets ready to make that right turn here. Take a look and see if David Tooker gets one of his really strong starts that we're becoming accustomed to seeing here in this Mrs. Goodies Grand National Series as they'll come across the final corner here.
Yep, Tooker's going to have control. And he's off. Gone. Good restart for David Tooker. Great restart for David Tooker.
Matthew Weeks jumps to the
looking
inside
three
there.
wide again for second. I thought better of it. It worked so well the first time. That was probably a good call.
Yeah, I definitely think that was a smart move there to back out of that 3 wide. Just get back in line, try to work up through the field. Closest battle right here is third and fourth between Tyler Fody and Tate Lytle.
Head down right into another brake zone. For the first time into this brake zone. So good, so far so good for these guys.
Yeah, definitely a better start this time than last time as these guys continue to battle side by side. RC already up here to 21st. So he's gained, I believe, about 6 spots since the restart. So definitely making his moves as he goes past Jeff Green.
Well, Tate Lytle's tried to outbrake Fody, got loose, and went off the track. He's going to be okay. He's going to lose 2 spots trying to gain a spot, but...
Yeah, Tate looks like he'll rejoin the field behind Garrison Hogan in the 8th position. So definitely a big fall there for Tate, but he should be able to gather things back up and rebound, as you will see guys go off from time to time, hitting the grass there.
That was a great save, though. He was way sideways. Like, Tate did some driving.
Yeah, Tate's definitely a fairly strong competitor. We'll actually take a look there, Chris, on the Whiskey Cast replay and watch Tate do his bit of driving there to show us what he can do.
Yeah, he tries to get the spot. He's going to try to outbrake him down here into a corner. He beats him in, Fody kind of gives it up. And he's like, all right, if you can do that.
Yeah, you can just see it step out right away. Tokyo drifting that car. Tate does a really nice job there, Chris. I'm impressed.
Yeah, it's nice when you make a mistake at a road course and you get away with it. Like, you learn, like what he learned there is so valuable. And he learned it by just giving up a couple spots. He learned that is too far for that corner. He has to back it down, and he won't do that again the next time. a lot of times when you learn a lesson like that at a road course, that you get in somewhere too deep, you lose 20 spots and you're spinning.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I just want to make a quick mention here, once again, just on the RC Anderson cam. He's up to 15th. That's crazy. He's up 12 spots since the last restart.
Yeah, he is flying.
Coming up on Trevor Elam there. You have Casey Hatch that has crashed in the back.
Oh, not good for Dave. That's the car that Dave sponsors.
As we look at that beautiful number 14 Hux machine.
Oh, he's going to put right back.
Gray.
Wow.
Yikes. That almost did not end well. The Hux car almost got chucked.
You know, and we do have, not sure if he's here, but we do have the sponsor of that car with us tonight in the broadcast room. Not what he wants to see. Losing millions of dollars sitting there letting everybody go by.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he probably appreciates the TV time. Chad Thornquist really hard into that corner. Almost into the back of Tyler Fode. They're able to get back in line in fourth, but yeah, that was close. And yeah, definitely unfortunate there for the number 14 Hux machine of Casey Hatch. I know this definitely isn't Casey's kind of racing, but obviously doing his best out there. I don't think he killed the car, so he should be able to come back out there if he wishes, but that was definitely a close call between himself and Alexander Gray after he got the car back going straight. It's like,
yeah, it was a great
falling just a little bit here.
Yeah, Tate, he's struggling just a little. Oh, Gerald Campbell's off. He's going to get back on. He's going to be all right. Somebody else was off in front of him too. I'm not sure who it was. They're making a lane out there in the gravel.
Was off track as well in the 84 machine. Wyatt able to keep it going straight in 23. The battle's definitely on here between these two, Fode and Thornquist. Thornquist, that was a hell of a move there.
Yeah, Chad's going to take it right there for now.
Yeah, Chad up to P3, so definitely showing his strength in that number 02 machine. The 213 Simware sponsored Chevrolet. He makes a move around the always strong Tyler Fode.
And RC's about to move back into the top 10 here very shortly. Tooker's out to about a second-and-a-half lead over Ethan Stanley, Chad Thornquist, Tyler Fode, and Matthew Weeks.
Yeah, RC Anderson, like you mentioned there, in P12. Just ahead of him is Scott Crump and Justin Vandermeerl. And then not too much further up, there's a battle going on between Jay Kaner, Latham Joyner, and Tate Lytle. That's all for P7. So RC could find himself up in the 7th position here momentarily.
Yeah, I guess forget what I said about trying to get on a different strategy unless you think the tires are worth it. If you're RC, I mean, he's going to drive himself back into the top 5 likely here before the stage.
Yeah, I think RC's strategy is, yeah, I want to win this stage, and I'm going to do whatever the heck I can do to do it.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to win the stage. 5th might be a stretch, but I think he could get to 6th. He could get to 7th easy. If he can get through these guys pretty quick, he could probably get to 6th. Getting to 5th is going to be quite a challenge here in 3 laps.
Yeah, definitely. The one thing for RC here is Scott Crump is blinking a little bit as RC looks to the left here. He'll go ahead and make, or looks to the right, sorry, he'll make that pass as he now comes up on Justin Vandermeerl trying to move into the top 10. That's it's definitely a really strong recovery for RC. We're going to have to keep an eye on him as we go further on into the race, but you know, David Tooker, as you mentioned, does have a 1.1 second lead over Ethan Stanley in 2nd. Then it's over 3 seconds back to Chad Thornquist and Tyler Fode. Then another...
Michael Goodman is around, and we have people pitting here before the end of the stage.
Yeah, Goodman went around there. Looks like Yari and Brandon Key hit pit road here. Those two are going to take their pit stop. Be interesting to see if any of these guys in the top 10 that really don't have a shot at Tooker come down pit road early and see if they can make up some places. Mark Keeler also down pit road here.
So these guys have chosen to pit here. They're probably going to pit again. I don't think anybody can make it. I don't know. I don't have a good idea on the fuel number here.
The one thing that's also going to be interesting to watch here, Chris, is look at this pit road exit. It is extremely tight. There is not room to be side by side with anybody, so it's going to be interesting to see if we have any incidents exiting pit road.
Yeah, looking here, looking at these fuel numbers, these guys are not going to be able to make this a one-stop race. Even if you pit here at the stage, you're going to have to pit again. You can only run about 30 laps on fuel.
Yeah,
and
so
we are still north of 30 to go right here.
Even if you pit with 1 to green, you would still be a little bit short. I mean, it might be possible to save it, but I think that would be a stretch.
It might be possible to save a bit, but they would have to save 5 laps by the time we, if you factor in the yellow laps and whatnot. Like, you're looking at saving 4 or 5 laps of fuel. Like, I just don't see it.
Yeah, that'll definitely be tough.
Oh, Thomas Sherman's around coming out of turn 1.
That is not a good spot there for Sherman. He does the smart thing by backing it up, getting out of the way. Jeff Green coming by here. But, yeah, that was very close for Thomas Sherman. Just take a quick peek at that on the Whiskey Cast replay, see what happened to him. Side by side with Justin Vandermeer, it looks like. Enter the corner here.
Trying to outbrake somebody. Gonna get down there. Oh, yeah, he's gonna get the...
He clips the yellow curbing there.
Turtle.
And just sends him around.
He hit the turtle. Yeah, typically, we only talk about those turtles at, like, the Roval. The Roval has turtles everywhere, but he found one here.
We saw that in the F1 race as well, actually. Just a quick update. RC Anderson up to 9th. But when we were here just a few weeks ago with the Formula 1 series, those turtles were fairly deadly as guys such as Justin Vandermeer clip those turtles, and it just sends you around right away. But Chris, I'm looking at this this scoring tower here, and the gap from David Tucker back to even 7th place with Latham Joyner is over 16 seconds. So that just tells you the kind of speed that guys like David Tucker and Ethan Stanley have here. It is quite crazy how fast these guys are.
Yep. And we're going to go 3 wide here with Tate Lytle and the 03, it looks like, with RC. Oh, we're going to go 3 wide for sure. This is all a battle for, I believe, 6th place.
Yeah, this is the 7th place battle here, as Tate has the advantage, but he's going to grab a bit of that curbing. Latham Joyner gets loose. RC looking to the inside of Joyner.
Here we come down here. Tate's got the spot for now. RC's also going to get the spot.
Yeah, RC able to just outbrake Latham there. Jump up to the 8th position. We did have another incident as we were looking at this battle here. We did have Brandon Key crash in this one. Take a quick peek. Looks like he was all by himself here. I wonder if maybe he grabbed the turtle at the end of this straightaway here.
Oh, he's just in there a little bit too hot.
Yeah, he's like...
Caution's out for the stage break, by the way, but let's finish the... Okay, so he's going to get off track. He's going to try to get back. Oh, we got too much. He's going to spin. Oh, but he's all right.
Yeah, just that's a little little off track there for Key. Nothing too major. David Tucker does take that playoff point, as we'll take a look here shortly and watch these guys come down pit road for their pit stop and see if anyone maybe... Oh, Chad Thornquist still sending it back there. Rift to know that corner.
One thing I will say, we've talked about these turtles a little bit now. These turtles in a stock car, you can hit them. Now, in an F1 car, you can't hit them at all. But in these stock cars, we can hit them if we mean to. Like, if you know you're going to hit the turtle, you go in, know when you're going to hit that turtle. You hit it straight. You hit it the way you want to. Like, you're hitting it on purpose. That's fine. You can get away with it. But in these stock cars, if you don't know you're going to hit it, like if you get down there like he did into 1 and you accidentally hit it, you're going to spin out almost every time just because you're not preparing the car for that hit. You're not putting the wheel in a position. Like when you hit those turtles, you kind of got to be straight. Yeah, that's how we get these cars to go so fast around the roval is you basically use the turtles to your advantage. If you weren't hitting them with the wheel in the proper position, you would spin out every time. So you can get away with it in these cars. In an F1 car, they're so low to the ground on, with everything. Like if you hit them, you're done, and they cause major damage. But these stock cars, you can get away with it if you go in knowing you're going to hit it.
Yeah, the turtles are definitely something that it will still upset the balance of your car if you hit them too hard there. Just take a quick run through the field, taking a look at all the cars. Definitely seeing a few with a bit more damage than what they started with. But yeah, those turtles can definitely upset the car a fair bit, and definitely a lot more in the Formula 1 and IndyCar type vehicles where your floor pan's just going to take all that damage from hitting those turtles, and it's just going to do major issues with your vehicle. But yeah, going to be interesting to see what everyone does here as the field does come down pit road.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's coming right now.
Yeah, it looks like absolutely nobody's going to stay out. Maybe a couple guys in the back that did hit a little bit early. But everyone will pull into their pit stops here.
Johnny Thomas is going to stay out.
Yeah, Johnny Thomas does stay out. We do see the Huck machine still sitting on pit road there. Definitely unfortunate, but Johnny Thomas will take the race lead here as he has just passed David Tooker. I want to see them battling off pit road here. See how tight this gets. Chad Thernquist will actually win the race off pit road here.
Yeah, going to have a new leader, it looks like.
Watch these guys exit pit road here, single file.
Oh, Chad Thernquist is giving that spot back.
As we actually just had major incident there. Jeff Green with damage. Wyatt Canado almost destroyed. Yeah, definitely a tight pit road. Like you mentioned there, Chris, before I cut you off, Chad Thernquist did have to give the position back. So David Tooker did pass him at the pit exit line, but the long pit lane to get back on track was single file, so David just backed off. And
yeah, and I'm looking at this Jeff Green. Everybody has to slow down for this corner coming out of pit road. And everybody stops. Jeff Green into the back of the 17. Gerald Campbell into the back of him. Gerald's lost his whole nose. Oh, the one gets a piece of it here. There's a bunch of cars with a bunch of damage.
Gerald's nose absolutely destroyed. Wyatt Canado looking like a modified out there. Thomas Sherman has some pretty heavy damage on his nose. Jeff
71.
Green, 71 of David Carpenter, heavy damage. Yeah, that's definitely not... that's not going to help the balance of these cars here, Chris.
No, for sure. That's not what you want. That's a lot of cars that are pretty hurt here.
Pretty tore up. I think we're going to see a few of them come down pit road here, try to fix it up a little bit. Johnny Thomas coming down pit road. He just wanted to lead a lap.
Well, he actually didn't lead a lap. If they beat him to the line, he's not going to lead the lap. Is he going to? Is that the line? Oh, he got there. All right.
Yeah. So Johnny did lead that lap there. So definitely good for him. A bonus point. Like I mentioned, Wyatt Canado, Dave Carpenter coming down pit road, trying to fix those cars up. Johnny Thomas also down.
Real quick here, while we're under caution, what should probably be the last one we have. I want to give a shout out to all our sponsors. Once again, everybody at the Elite Racing Network. Of course, you, Robert, and Dave. I know you guys are both here. Everything Chad does for this league. Different race every night of the week, it seems like. We're coming at you live tonight from Red Bull. Then Wednesday night, we got the Cup race coming at you live from Monza for their road course race. Friday night, we got IndyCar returning. We've got Sunday F1 returning. So we got a full slate this week. So shout out to everybody at the Elite Racing Network there. And, of course, this is the Mrs. Goodies Grand National Series. And Mrs. Goody's Goodies does hooded towels, handmade items for babies, kids, you, and your home. And you can contact her for more information at miregoody@hotmail.com. Of course, all of our serious sponsors, everybody at TA Services. Jeff Green just had a little bit of an issue on pit road, so we'll have to see how he rebounds from that. But TA Services have been a trusted domestic and international full-service third-party logistics provider offering freight brokerage, managed transportation, warehousing, and fulfillment, and cross-border logistics service to shippers around the globe. Blue Egg Marketing, the marketing department for small business, and Briticam. Briticam is a venture-backed tech company based in Toronto and Boston, and they are on a mission to reimagine the group photo experience. Wonderful sponsors. None of this happens without them and Chad and everybody at Elite as we get ready for the restart here.
Absolutely. We definitely appreciate all of our partners here at the Elite Racing Network, the Elite Racing Leagues. As like you mentioned, pace car about to turn off here. We're about to get going green here once again. New front row though. Aside from David Tooker, we have Chad Thornquist up here in second. Tyler Fode, Ethan Stanley, and Matthew Weeks, or RC Anderson, sorry, up there in the top 5. Pace car about to take that sharp right-hander, come down pit road, and we're going to go green here once again, Chris. Probably for the final time of the evening.
Yeah, more than likely, but I never say never.
Absolutely, we weren't expecting that lap
one. Come down here off the last turn. Tooker comes into the restart zone. Great launch. He gets away. Will they try to go 3 wide once again? They do not. Oh, we got a big stack up on the bottom. Oh, we got a spinner somewhere. Maybe. Just everybody's jammed up. Gerald Campbell's got a lot of damage, and that's hurting him big time down the straightaway. He is getting past 10 cars, maybe. 10 cars went by Gerald down the straightaway.
Yeah, Gerald just absolutely having a miserable time right now. Look at this stack up. Got cars everywhere.
Yeah, it is crazy out there.
A parking lot, but back up front over here, David Tooker does have a bit of a lead over Chad Thornquist and Ethan Stanley. Tyler Fode, and back in the top 5, RC Anderson. Really
and Robert, you know, we're both drivers, and people ask us all the time, you know, how is it more fun in the broadcast booth than it is driving a race car? And some weeks it's not. Like, you know, we can sit here and we can watch some races and say, man, I'd like to be out here for this race. But I don't know if you're in agreement. Tonight, I am very happy and content where I am for this race.
Yeah, no, I am a road
Oh, the 13th around, he's going to hit the guardrail.
Yeah, it's one of our
not major damage.
Pop. Ooh.
Oh, backed right up across the track. That could have been big.
Unfortunate there. He did almost back into Alexander Gray, who had a similar incident with Casey Hatch in the Hux machine. So Alex definitely ready for this one to end, or at least cars to stop backing in front of him. But yeah, Chris, you know, I have won on a road course in this series before at Circuit of the Americas a few years ago against Chad Frankenfield. But this is a track that I have struggled at myself, and being in the broadcast booth definitely seems like it might be more enjoyable, especially considering all the major stack-ups we've seen throughout the field. I just know I would be one of those guys with a messed up nose and having not too much fun.
For sure. This is a crazy event, an exciting event, and that not a lot of these drivers were too excited for.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of mixed emotions in practice. You know, there was guys that definitely weren't too pleased with the track decision. Obviously, it's a track that's not too common for these stock cars. So, guys definitely questioning it.
Rucker's off.
Yeah,
not sure if it's too bad, though. I think he might be all right.
No, he was able to continue on there, Chris. He'll get back in line behind Brandon Ultra, another one of our rookies there. But Speaking of rookies, currently our top rookie in the field, Ethan Stanley in the 92 machine. Definitely not new to Elite. Cody Harrington has crashed here. Take a quick look at that on the Whiskey Cast replay. Looks like he may have gotten a big chunk of the wall.
Something about this corner must be pretty tricky. This is where we saw Tate get sideways. This is where we saw Rucker just go off. It's going to not be that corner, though. It's going to be in the next one.
Yeah, right there. You can see the car just getting upset as he enters the corner. Loops it.
Oh, man. Is he going to hit anything? Oh, no. He's going to be all right.
He's not going to hit anything, but one thing I noticed right here, that's Alexander Gray going by. So Alexander Gray has had just about every incident happen right in front of him so far this evening, but no, he's been able to keep his car in one piece and not running where he'd like to be, but he's definitely doing a good job of keeping it together. So kudos to Alexander Gray for that.
Yeah, I mean, it could be worse. He could have been involved in a couple of those. But one thing I will say about that car that we just saw spin, man, that paint scheme is... I hope he gets a chance to run up at the front there with that paint scheme. That's a throwback to Dale Jarrett, and at least I think that's what it is. It looks like that's what it is. Dale Jarrett ran a one-off scheme there in 2001. I think he crashed the car at Kansas, but I think that thing looks just great. I love the look of that car.
It's definitely a nice car as he locks it up a little bit heading into the corner. We do have Andrew Rucker has had about 3 off tracks since the time we started talking about that paint scheme. So Rucker definitely struggling here tonight. I think he's another one that's looking forward to this one being over. Has a bit of rear end damage there, but he is currently keeping it on track in P31, just ahead of Josh Adams. Adams, he's looking forward to this one being over as well.
Yeah, he wasn't really looking forward to getting here at all. I talked to him through the week, and he was not happy about this racetrack. He doesn't like road courses anyway, and so I mean, but when you go into something like that, you're probably not going to run good. If you're going into it, you know, hating it before you even turn laps and hating it before you even get there. Oh wow! Look at the 24. They get away. Everything's good.
Wow. Yari just grabbed a piece of that curbing and ended up turning into Jake Hayner and Thomas Sherman. It's definitely not good for Yari. Brandon Key had a little bit of an incident there. He's able to get back on track in P34. But definitely a big moment there for Yari.
I will say this, I think we are in the spot now where the fuel window is open.
Like Brandon Key had a crash there. Take a quick look.
Oh man, is that Dave's car sitting there too?
On pit road, yeah. Casey Hatch, I believe, has retired the car for the... I'm going to say Brandon entered this corner and it just stepped out on it.
Now this is the same corner from earlier, right? That we saw Brandon spinning?
Yes, I believe it was. Yeah, the exact same spot. And there's Alexander Gray.
So he doesn't hit anything. He's just going to load it up. He's just going to load the car up.
Yeah, I think he just had enough and hit that reset button and decided he was done for the day. But battle's on here between Ethan Stanley and Chad Thornquist. Ethan makes the pass for second. Actually, the battle's on for second between 4 cars here. Chad Thornquist, Tyler Fody, and RC Enerson enter the picture here as Enerson. Oh, Ethan Stanley gets the dirt. Big moment there for Ethan Stanley as now Matthew Weeks and Tate Lytle are going to pass him. He's going to go from 2nd to 7th in just a matter of a few corners.
Yeah, you'll have that. Good job to not lose the race car.
Definitely going to have to try to work his way back through speed. He definitely has speed, but pit strategy as well is definitely going to be important here. As like you mentioned, we are coming close to that time. He is sending it into these corners.
Oh, Tate. Is he going to make contact with Matthew? He just sent it in there, got sideways, kept right on digging.
Yeah, that was definitely close there. We have had
And
Yari
we
and
talked
Adams
about
go
him.
off.
Yeah, we talked about him, how he didn't enjoy this place. Josh Adams just got to go out and do some excavation work there.
Oh!
Ooh, Tate's back out wide again.
Yeah, Tate goes a little wide there. David Tucker now has a 3-second lead over Chad Thornquist, but the battle there for second is very hot between Thornquist, Fody, and RC Anderson. Ethan Stanley was able to keep it in P5. So Ethan actually, you could see him in the background of this picture here. He is not giving up, which is definitely a good effort so far by that rookie.
Yep, he's I think he's a road course guy though, I believe so.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, Chris, he was our runner-up in the Formula One race just a few weeks ago here. So Ethan knows this track. He knows it quite well, and it's definitely showing here tonight. As you know, he even had an incident. Unfortunately, Alexander Gray has had an incident of his own this time. Take a quick look on the Whiskey Cast replay, see what happened. He's on the straightaway here.
This is going to be something going into turn one, it would appear.
I'm going to guess that he's going to clip the turtle on the right side here. Take a look.
Is that what you're... I'm going to guess he doesn't even get down there. I'm going to guess he's way out wide.
Oh, he's hot. Oh, no, he just loses it entering the corner. Yeah, it looks like it just stepped out on him. That's a nice job, though, if not hitting anything. He'll wait and let Cody Harrington go by and get it going once again. But pit stops have started here. Matthew Weeks down pit road.
Yeah, we are in that window now at this point. It'll make it on fuel from here. Try to get new tires. Try to make some time up over whoever it is you are racing.
Yeah, the one thing we're gonna have to watch here is...
Oh, the 7's around out of the last corner with maybe some help from Rucker. I'm not sure. Is this going to bring out a yellow? He's sitting there and he can't move. It brought out a yellow before.
Take a quick look here. Definitely from this angle. We'll see if we can get a good angle on this. Chopper up in the sky here. Rucker, yeah, Rucker into the back.
Oh, definitely. Wow, big hit.
Wow.
Big help.
Yeah, so we got Hodges around, backs it into the barrier. We had another wreck out there. Cody Harrington with a crash of his own. See what happens here with him.
Going down into a brake zone.
Oh, he just enters really hot.
Oh, we lose him in the trees.
Him in the trees there. Back that one
up. But it's good. Yeah, nothing's coming. He's good. Now, one thing of note here. Okay, so like, Race Control has determined that they will throw yellow if necessary. I think, you know, if I'm one of these guys that has yet to pit, I've got that in the back of my mind. Like, if a caution comes out now, Matthew Weeks is probably, I mean, he's pitted. He's going to stay out and he's going to inherit the lead. So, I mean, you got to be thinking about that if you're one of these guys that's still out here and you still think you have a shot to win this race. Like, I would be considering getting to pit road here pretty quick to not get caught out by a yellow.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely thinking that we did have a yellow earlier on in this one. But I wouldn't be too shocked if we were to grab another one here, as this battle's really hot here for P3 between Fody and Anderson. Anderson outbreaks Fody into the corner and is able to take that third position. But like you mentioned, Chris, you definitely have to have that yellow flag on your mind just in case.
Yeah, typically you wouldn't. Typically you wouldn't. Like, in a, you know, the way the elite rules are structured, we don't get yellows at road courses. They never throw them. It's been a big discussion about, you know, should admins throw yellows. Well, we saw one, okay? This race, lap 1. Oh, the 73's around backwards here.
Jones around here.
He just got out there to the pavement.
First in there to get out of the way.
So we saw a yellow this race already. We saw an admin willing to throw a yellow on the first lap. So now, if I'm out here running, I know that. And I'm thinking that in the back of my mind, like, okay, I know one guy has pitted. So maybe getting caught out right now wouldn't be terrible. It would be great for Matthew. He'd get the lead. But it wouldn't be terrible. But if you get like 10 or 12 guys on pit road now, then you've got to be thinking, can you come from outside the top 10, even if you're the fastest guy, in 25 laps? I mean, as we got another car off here, it's a red. Oh, it's a 7 again.
Like he just sent it a bit too hard into that corner, grabbed a bit of the wall there, but not too bad. One thing I'm seeing here, David Tooker obviously is our race leader, but not too far up ahead of him is Mark Keeler. If I'm Tooker, am I thinking that maybe it's time to come down pit road before I catch this lap traffic? Just so I have those fresh tires to be able to maneuver around them? Or?
As the leader, man, it's so tough. Like, because you know Matthew's out here running laps. He pitted. But Matthew's also dealing with a bunch of traffic now.
Yeah,
he pitted and came out with traffic.
Position.
So, if I'm Tooker, I'm going to have to see some other cars pit before I pit. You've got a 5-second gap, 4.5-second gap. I'm going to have to see like RC, Chad, some other guys pit, and you can wait a lap and still come out in front of them. That's what I would have. If I'm the leader, I'm waiting until they pit. I don't want to be on the oldest tires. So you kind of want to wait and see them. You know, I want to give myself every advantage that I can for later in the race. And if that's 1 lap newer tire, staying out 1 lap longer than Chad and RC, the guys that you're racing, probably RC. RC is going to get the Chad, make quick work of Chad, and then we're going to see what kind of pace RC has. That's the guys. So
actually,
like
they're
that
right there right now. RC has caught Chad.
So when RC is the guy I would pit off of. If I see RC pit, I'm coming the next lap.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a good call, Chris, because RC is definitely one of the quickest, if not the quickest car we have here tonight. So he's definitely going to be one to keep an eye on. Actually, the best lap time of the race is a tie between RC and David Tooker at a 135.19. So both of these guys with pretty exceptional speed.
Yeah, I give the edge to RC, though, because RC ran that in traffic. So we're really going to see what RC's got here when he gets around Chad. He might not be able to go run that quick lap right now because of the older tires, but we know we're getting ready to have a pit stop. And look at Chad just working so hard to stay in front of RC. RC's not really putting a wheel off. So we're going to find out here real quick exactly what kind of pace RC has compared to Tooker. And in my opinion, Tooker is the only car.
He makes really quick work of Chad there.
RC's the only car that's going to be able to run down Tooker, and I think Tooker knows that. RC's the only car that can beat him.
Yeah, the one thing we'll take a look at just right now, 6.13 seconds is the gap at the time of me telling you the gap between David and RC. We'll see how quickly that
so
goes
he made
down.
that pass this lap. I want to know the next lap, what their times are. That's what I would want to know, and that's what I'd be watching if I was those two. Because now he's going to have clean track for the first time all race. You know, he got spun down there and won. So this next lap, let's see what kind of pace they run against each other.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be the telltale sign of how this thing might go. But David's kind of taking it easy through some of these corners. No reason to really push at this point. Yeah, I'm just watching that gap there, and RC carrying in.
Yeah, I think Tooker knows he can't pit before RC. And if I'm RC, I kind of want to run a little bit and see what kind of pace I got against him before I pit. Because it's 23 laps. He's got time to get there. So we look here, battle for... Yeah, Stanley's ran him back down after he gave up some of those spots.
Stanley's really had a nice race, Chris. Obviously, he had his incidents there. Said Gerald Campbell go off track once again. Unfortunate evening for him. He's probably having some issues from that damage that he got on pit road as well. But Ethan Stanley doing a nice job. Take a look here in just a moment at Tooker and RC cross the line, see what they can do here. David Tooker 137.87. RC 137.52.
So he's beating him by 0.4 of a second, just about.
Yeah, RC definitely.
Oh, the 24. So this might be the caution. I think he's got to throw the caution. The 24 is stopped in the middle of the track. Cars are having to go around him. Why are we not getting a caution for that? That should have been a caution. If we're going to throw a caution for what happened in turn 1, that right there has got to be called.
Take a look on the Whiskey Cast replay here. See what happened with Jari Brubacher. See Jari get into the corner here behind Dave Carpenter. Almost into the back of Carpenter. Jari blocking the track here. Rucker almost into the side of him. Richard Hines having to go through the dirt. Trevor Elam. Almost incidents there for Adams and Thomas.
Yeah, if we're going to throw a caution for what happened on lap 1, that's got to be a caution too. You have got to be consistent with your calls here. If you're an admin, you know, like if you're an admin, it's kind of like when you're officiating an NBA or an NFL game. However you determine you're going to call it at the start of the game in the first quarter, that's kind of how you got to call it the rest of the way. Some form of consistency. And that right there should have been a caution if what we threw on lap 1 is getting a caution. Got to be more consistent. You can't just pick and choose when you want to throw the yellow.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of keeping it green on that one, especially after the lap 1 incident there. If had Alex Gray crashed there, he's gone to pit road. Fortunate his night has not been...
RC must have made a mistake too. He got beat by 0.7 of a second that last lap, so something happened there. But I'm cool with it not being a caution if the first thing wasn't a caution. But when you throw a caution for what you threw one for on lap 1, you got to stay consistent. You know, either they're both cautions or they're both not cautions. You can't be inconsistent.
No, you definitely can't pick or choose here. And just a quick note here, just behind RC Anderson, on the camera view, you can see Johnny Thomas. Johnny has just pit within the last few laps here, so Johnny is 1 lap down currently, working his way back up through. So he is not the third place car. The third place car is Chad Thornquist right here, just a little bit behind them.
And one thing I will say, we must have missed it. Josh Adams has spun around as well. So his night is, it was bad already, and it's getting worse.
Yeah, it looks like Adams entered the corner that's been miserable for quite a few guys tonight. Same thing we've seen with multiple people this evening. A little bit of a 360 there just about for Adams. He's able to keep it off the wall, off the track. Just missed that tire wall.
He's wrecking again as we speak. It's just not good for Josh.
Yeah, night's gone from bad to worse there for Adams. His latest incident here.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. That right there, that's a pissed off Josh Adams is what that is.
Absolutely, and we have had our first pit stop from the top, well, second pit stop after Matthew Weeks as Scott Crump takes the number 90 machine down pit road here. Yeah, Adams just got lapped there as well. So definitely a bad night for Josh Adams. We are 20 laps to go here. Waiting on these leaders to come down pit road. Adams wrecking again in the background, it looks like. Yeah, he just knows it there.
We are witnessing the downfall of Josh Adams at a road course right now.
I wouldn't be shocked if we witnessed the retirement from this race by Josh Adams here momentarily. That's just frustrating. But Josh definitely not one that's known to have rough nights like this, but unfortunately it happens to the best of us. And
well, actually on road courses, I don't think he's had a good night at a road course. Last year at the Indy road course, I believe he had a little campfire going over there off track somewhere upside down because of his frustration of that race.
It's definitely quite possible. Could happen again tonight. Johnny Thomas.
Oh, the O2 was trying to get to pit road. Johnny Thomas is around. Is that why the O2 did not pit? I think Thornquist was going to pit there and saw the car sitting there and chose to bounce back out.
Yeah, Johnny Thomas looked like he was entering pit road. We got an indication that he was entering pit lane. Doubt that was the case, as he did just come off pit road not long ago.
Yeah, he's going to spin here, but Chad Thornquist was coming to pit road and chose.
A look here.
Oh, he just got loose. He wasn't going to pit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thornquist wasn't pitting. He was just losing it.
Yeah, I thought he was going to pit. That's what when I saw everything happen over there, I was like, oh, he was coming to pit road, and he chose not to. And
yeah, no, that was just another Thornquist sick drift that we've seen quite a few times tonight. So Matthew Weeks back down pit road here. So
yeah, not sure I get this.
Completely out the window.
Oh, the 81 Alex Gray is around again. He's going to be okay, though. He's off the course. Oh, something just happened to Josh Adams. There's something.
Got notification that Adams has crashed. Take another look here on the cast replay. I think Adams is going to want some of this whiskey by the end of this one. Take a look. Just a note, Matthew Weeks still showing as on pit road at this point. The long... Oh,
my goodness.
I want to ride on board for that one. That's Josh calling it a night, Chris.
Finds himself in the same place he sat for the Indy Road Course.
Just an update.
Over there.
He has passed away. That's wow. That's rough. Ethan Stanley, Chad Thornquist, and Latham Joyner have pit from the top 10 here. So that brings Justin Vandermeer, Thomas Sherman, and Vincent Isabella up into the top 10 now, as we are deep into our pit cycle. Yep. Zach Evans coming down pit road as well.
Tooker seems to have a little more pace consistently than like RC will beat him by half a second once every 3 or 4 laps. But then Tooker has like solid laps and RC has like way bad laps. So Thornquist left. Thornquist, did we miss something happen to him, or did he just pull over and leave?
Nothing did happen to Chad Thornquist as per my logs here. So not sure what happened. Yeah. It's questionable. We'll definitely have to try to find out what happened to Chad Thornquist. That was totally connected. RC Anderson down pit road here. Battle's actually on here, but that is not a battle. I do apologize. That's just Tate Lytle passing the lap car of Brent Jones.
Oh, the 24 is around. This might bring out a caution. He's sitting. Nobody's coming, though.
Oh. Oh, no. He's got a couple guys coming behind him, though. Able to get that going once again. But close, Chris. Harrison Hogan on pit road as well. Justin Vandermeer now enters pit road. David Tooker continues to lead here. But one thing I was going to say earlier, Chris, as you mentioned that Tooker was holding a bit more consistent speed, is David hasn't really had to do much battling, unlike RC Anderson and the rest of the top 10 here, as David just really got his solid restart and was able to just do his own thing, able to save a little bit more while those guys really duked it out and battled hard. I think we will see Tooker down pit road in the next couple laps here as Alexander Gray has crashed again. Gerald Campbell now entering pit road to join the rest of the field, but I think David has a little bit more tires than the rest of these guys at this point, as it looks like David is coming down pit road. Ooh, fellow loose there.
24 is around again. Tooker's coming to pit road, like you said.
Tate Lytle should inherit the race lead at this point.
He's going to come to pit road.
Wow.
He's going to get all he can get coming to pit road.
Tyler Fody should get the race lead, depending on how quickly David Tooker can exit pit road.
Yeah, if I'm Fody, I might stay out and at least lead a lap, get a point.
Watch Fody come on by here with Brent Jones.
Chad Frankenfield's coming. Let's watch RC, see where he blends in relation to Tooker here. Tooker's at the pit exit cone now. RC, wow, big net gain for RC of Chad ton.
That's a very scientific measurement there, Chris. But yeah, RC is right there with Tooker. Tooker literally just barely ahead of him, as you can see RC Anderson in your view right now.
Yeah, that's way closer and that's more than just a one lap, one new tires. Like, that's everything. Execution coming to pit road, leaving the box. I mean, that's everything. Net gain RC, big time.
Tyler Fode, currently the race leader, definitely going to try to at least lead a lap, get a bonus point. It'll help him out a little bit in the standings. But yeah, David Tooker, I think he was hoping for a bit more of a lead than that. And I just want to quickly give a shout out here. We don't give him a ton of shout outs because he's not always up here. But Michael Hossack currently battling for the 4th position with Ethan Stanley. So kudos to my fellow Canadian here in the 42 machine. Michael is doing a solid job here as Tyler Fode has entered pit road. Like he entering pretty quick though.
Well, the pit speed doesn't start until right there when he got to there.
Tooker currently leading, not by much though. So this is interesting. Michael Hossack enters pit road now. Had his fun up there in the top 5, so kudos to him for that. Top 3 once again will be Tooker, Anderson, and Ethan Stanley. Kate Lytle and Scott Crump up there in the top 5 as well, if Crump can get by Fode before pit road. So 15 laps to go here, Chris. Why don't we take the opportunity to just make a quick run through the field, give everyone a little bit of TV time. As we mentioned, David Tooker currently the race leader over RC Anderson. RC Anderson over Ethan Stanley, Kate Lytle, and Tyler Fode rounding out the top 5. Scott Crump and Latham Joyner right here as well, battling for that 5th position. That's 5th through 7th.
Oh, the 45 Brandon Ultra is around. And that Adam Petty tribute, it's going to get rolling. It's going to be okay.
Brandon Ultra, they're able to keep it going. David Tooker actually doesn't look like he's too far behind these guys. So that'll be interesting. Get through the field. Garrison Hogan there in 8th. Chad Frankenfield in 9th. And rounding out the top 10, Vincent Isabella having a rather quiet night, but quiet is sometimes good, especially on these road courses. Thomas Sherman there. Jacob Adams doing a nice job, the rookie there, with Justin Vandermeer, another rookie there in the 13th position.
Yeah, and I venture to say, you talk about Jacob Adams there. He's a guy, like you said, we haven't talked about. And if we're not talking about you, that means you're just running. You know, you're not running great, but you're not running terrible. You're staying out of trouble. If you would have told Jake, hey, I guarantee you a top 15, will you take it? He would have ran and cashed that check as quick as he could.
Absolutely, especially as a rookie on these road courses. You know, it might not be your bread and butter, but if you can keep it in one piece and just stay out there, then I think you're doing just fine. As we mentioned, Jacob Adams and Justin Vandermeer there, a pair of rookies. Jacob taking it to pit road for his pit stop. That should give the 13th position to Jay Kaner. Another rookie here, the long hauler, Conan Jones, all the way from Australia, commonly known as the Land Shark. That's 73 machine. Andrew Rucker, he's had quite the night. P6 team with Gerald Campbell and Wyatt Canadle right there.
Hey, Jared and Wyatt, they have no-nos. Congrats to them for sticking with it. No-nos, all that speed that they don't have in their race car, but they are still managing to run in the top 20 here. Like, it's kudos to them for sticking with it.
Absolutely. If you would have told me that we would have modifieds out here running top 20, I'd tell you you're crazy. But you know, just out of Wyatt, we got the rocket ship, Zach Evans there, doing a nice job in his number 6 Wally Racing machine. Dave Carpenter, another one that had some issues here tonight with pit road exit, just up there in the top 20. Jacob Adams just came off pit road there in 20th. Michael Hossack Tyler Pop, he's had his issues tonight. Brandon Ultra. Richard
Oh,
Hines.
Trevor Elam. Tate Lytle. Oh, man. This might get a yellow. 40's coming. They're parked on the track. Oh,
Trevor's
this
actually
might.
backing up into the field here.
Yeah, this might cause a yellow. Are they going to throw it? No, I think they're going to be okay. Oh, they're going to get together again here.
Oh. Trevor just loops it. Tate, I think, trying to avoid him, goes for a spin there. These guys got back together again, Chris. So
yeah, when they start driving away, I think Tate might have been a little bit pissed off. And right here, you see, he kind of comes out here and says, "No, you're not taking off for me."
Yeah, I could just imagine that Discord right now. They're definitely fired up as you see another modified there, Trevor Elam joining the race. I didn't know the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour was here tonight, but that's rough. As take a look at David Tooker, he's now 4.5 seconds ahead of RC. So definitely kind of spreading that gap a little bit.
Yeah, Tooker's just got to be mistake free because he's driving off from RC. He is leaving RC here, so RC made up all that ground on the pit stop and was about 2 seconds behind him, and David has just said, "See ya," waved goodbye.
I think we've had a crash here. Michael Hossack.
Oh, Goodman spun right at pit entry right now.
Goody there on the left side of the screen. He's going to rejoin the track just behind that Scott Crump and Hogan. Not too much damage done there.
Yeah, what it is we've been green for a long time.
Like
These guys are frustrated. They're trying to battle for spots late in the race, trying to get what they can late in the race. The tires, everybody pitted about 5, 7, 8 laps ago, and you're just frustrated, and you just make more mental errors as these things get further and further down.
Take a look on the scoring tower there. Look at the lap times last time by. David Tooker almost 2 seconds quicker than RC, and definitely some variations throughout the field from that lap time of David Tooker all the way back through. As see, like a couple guys doing 140s, some 146s compared to Tooker's 135. So definitely.
Oh, Scott Crump's around. Oh, little piece of Garrison Hogan, but everything's rolling already pretty quick.
Crump able to get it going once again there. Shouldn't lose too much. Does
maybe one spot. I don't think Goody's a spot. I think Goody's a lap car.
Yeah, Goody is a lap car. He's only going to lose that one spot to Garrison Hogan, so definitely not too much done there for Scott Crump, but it will put him a bit closer to Chad Frankenfield. And Chad likes every position, as does everyone else out here. But we have 18 cars on the lead lap at this point, Chris, with just 11 laps to go. It's been quite the race with some interesting strategies. Some guys having to work their way through the field. Quite a few incidents and probably some hurt feelings at the end of this one.
Oh, for sure. There are going to be some guys that are frustrated with other guys and whatnot, but I think ultimately the two best cars have made themselves known up here at the front. As that battle for 7th is raging on right now. Chad is now all over the back of Scott Crump.
Yeah, Chad definitely going to do whatever he can to get up here and catch Scott Crump, but about to call him Scrump there. Scott Crump has done a really nice job.
Did you say scrub? Are you calling Scott Crump a scrub? Is that what I heard?
Called him Scrump, actually, but yeah, definitely. Yeah, Scott's done a nice job rebounding from his incident there to hold off Chad at this point. But yeah, that's really our closest battle on the lead lap, I do believe. Jacob Adams, unfortunately, has had an incident there. Able to get it going once again.
Yeah, we talked good about him. It's my fault.
He has lost a lap with that incident.
I said something good about the guy, and now he has issues.
Yeah, it's the unfortunate broadcaster's curse, Chris. I know I've been a victim of it. I believe you have as well. It's definitely just an unfortunate thing that happens to us well, I guess to the drivers, doesn't really happen to us, but definitely unfortunate for Jacob Adams. He's had a really solid night, and you know, if he can just cross the line in 10 laps from now, I think that's a great night no matter what.
Yeah, but it would have been a way better night if he could have finished about 15th or so where he was trying to be running.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, every position's no doubt as the battle.
But he could look over at his brother and say, it's not as bad as what that is, you know? So, like, it depends on, do you want to look at a glass half full, glass half empty? I mean, you see what happened to Josh tonight.
Yeah, as we do look at that battle here for 7th, Chad has gotten by Scott Crump, and just behind them is Tate Lytle and Vincent Isabella. So that battle is going to heat up even more here between these guys as more of them enter the battle.
Yeah, and Tooker is just, he is still waving goodbye to RC. You know, it's about 6 seconds to RC, 6 seconds to Ethan Stanley, 24 seconds to Fody. Latham Joyner is about 3 seconds in front of Garrison Hogan. Of course, we've got this battle with Chad and Scott, and now Tate has joined this battle. Not a whole lot of close racing. That battle for 14th looks pretty close right now as well, between Gerald and Jones. Carpenter's not far behind, Zach Evans, and then that's it for the lead lap.
Yeah, you know, another guy that really, just to see him running at this point is an accomplishment. Brent Jones, he was extremely frustrated in practice. I know he had to have a couple guys try to calm him down a little bit before this one, as he was just really frustrated. But yeah, he's running 29th. Obviously not the place he wants to be in, but he's still running, and I think that's definitely a positive he's gonna have to take out of this one.
And we got Gerald side by side with the 73. Who gives it up into this next corner? Nobody. 73 is going to get sideways. 73's going to get sideways again.
Kynan Jones, ooh, he almost gets into the back of Gerald there. Kynan's really loose at this point.
How many laps he got on those rear tires? About 50? That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I don't know if he took rears here, Chris. They might just jacked up the front.
Yeah, just took front tires. He didn't need those rear tires.
Yeah, they just dropped the jack under the front splitter and popped him up there and sent him on his way. But yeah, Kynan's sliding.
But he's still running, and he's on the lead lap.
Yeah, he's actually not too far behind them. As you can see in the camera view now, passing the lap car Josh Hodges, is your race leader of David Tooker. So Tooker having an exceptionally strong run.
We got some contact here. Tate Lytle and Scott Crump racing hard for this spot.
You know,
I don't know what happened here. But
Tate's gonna be willing to move him out of the way.
I believe he sent a message over chat there to Scott Crump about, you know, maybe getting out of the way.
Tate being vocal, Chris? Come on. Ooh. Tate sends it. He'll tail happy there, but Tate Lytle able to get that 8th position from Crump. We are 8 laps to go here at the Red Bull Ring.
Can Tate get to Chad?
I think Tate can definitely get to Chad if Chad has.
Ooh, Brent Jones is off. Tooker's going to get around him. I wonder if that maybe was just because the leader was coming. He was trying to give him room.
Yeah, I think Brent just moved out of the way. Brent didn't want to cause any issues here, as you see David Tooker coming up on the Rocket Man Zach Evans here. Make a pass on him, put Zach a lap down.
Zach gives him the lane.
Wide.
He should have David, Carpenter, Jones, Campbell all not far in front of him.
Yeah, Carpenter and Campbell there. You just saw David off of the rear of that camera shot, just here passing the Alpha Tauri overpass, as he will come up on Campbell or Carpenter and Jones here in a second. Richard Hines has crashed. He's able to keep that car going.
Now it's just about no mistakes for Tooker. I mean, you took it to RC tonight. Surprised me anyway. I mean, I just think when I see RC at a road course, it's a race for second. But Tooker tonight, well, he said, I got something to show you guys. Take a look.
Yeah, you know, David Tooker is a great road course racer himself. He picked up a victory this weekend in his Mazda, or in his Miata series that he races back home. So he's riding a bit of momentum here, and I think that's definitely showing this evening. But anytime you have a guy like RC Enerson in the field, RC has to be the favorite, Chris, and it's surprising that he's not closer.
Yeah, and I'm going to say, I'll say this too about Tooker. Tooker's a guy who used to run up front all the time. And then, I don't know, last little bit, you know, at the end of last season, the start of this season, the performance kind of dropped off a little bit. But I think the last few races, the last few weeks, we have seen an uptick in that performance back to what it was. We've seen Tooker return to his old self. And it was almost on cue with when, you know, Kevin Harvick started running, you know, for wins again. So Tooker is back. Tooker is showing that this week. I think he's going to be a factor in this championship this year, the way that speed has gotten back into that race car.
Michael Hossack had an incident out back there as David Tooker has made quick work of Kynan Jones and Dave Carpenter here. But now that battle's on for 15th between Carpenter and Jones. Carpenter will just clear Kynan Jones. Back here, RC Enerson just kind of running by himself at this point. Ethan Stanley cycling through some lap traffic. Currently between Michael Hossack and Josh Hodges. Tyler Fode back here on his own with Andrew Rucker in the background there. And then it's a good bit back to Latham Joyner, but not too far behind Joyner is Garrison Hogan, who wants that 5th position. And then in this camera angle here, you got Frankenfield and Lytle battling for 7th. So things are heating up as we get towards the end of this thing. Almost 8 seconds of a lead for David Tooker, so not much to say up there, but battle's on throughout the field.
Yeah, and we got, like you said, Tate's coming back to Chad. I think maybe one more car is all that Tooker's going to get to as far as being one lap down. He could probably get to Gerald, probably will get to Gerald before the end of this thing, but I don't think he'll catch Jay, and I definitely don't think he'll catch Justin, so.
Yeah, Gerald not too far up ahead of David Tooker here. As you can see, Tooker in the background of the shot here. Might be close. I don't think you'll catch him this lap, but maybe next lap or the lap after he'll get Gerald. Depending on if Gerald makes any mistakes, but yeah, I'm not sure that he catches Jay or Justin. So those guys should be fairly safe on the lead lap here. But, you know, we are 5 laps to go here, Chris, and later this week we head to another road course at Monza in the Cup Series. How are you feeling about that one?
Yeah, I'm feeling like if I make the race, that's about the only win I'll have on Wednesday.
I think it's definitely going to be tough. I've heard mixed reviews heading into that track. I've never done a lap there aside from the oval. I wish we were running because that would be really cool. As Michael crashed in the background, looks like with Alexander Gray. So Alexander Gray's night has been absolutely miserable. Tooker now gets by Gerald Campbell. But yeah, as we look ahead to that Cup race on Wednesday, we definitely have to give another shout out to our good friend Alexander Ned, who, as we recently found out, has been sent home from the hospital. I do believe is the last update I heard. So big shout out to Alex. Definitely hope he's doing a bit better and get back with us at some point. But until then, definitely continue to keep him in your thoughts and send your best wishes his way.
Yeah, Alex, if you hear this or you're seeing this or you're watching us right now, you know, we need you back for Wednesdays. He needs the help in there. He needs the guy that's going to carry him, you know. Alex is one of the best guys here at Elite Racing Network as far as on-air talent. I even feel weird saying that. You know, I don't think I've got any kind of talent, and a lot of guys will tell you that I am correct. But Alex, we miss you over here. You know, you need to come back, and we're glad that you're getting home. We hope they figure out what's going on. You get better, and you get to be talking about these fake internet races with us again here very soon, and before the end of B season.
Absolutely. And we want nothing more than to have Alex back out here with us. Such a great asset to the group, and definitely makes us all better. So Alex, definitely get back with us soon, and like you said, hopefully they can figure out what's going on with him. And one thing we got here is a battle for 5th between Latham Joyner and Garrison Hogan as they're cycling through lap traffic as they get by Wyatt Knadel and work on Brandon Ultra in that 45 machine. With 4 laps to go here, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, we got us a great, some lap traffic in there. Garrison's up there. You look, you know, Chad's not far behind. Tate's not far behind.
Yeah, Chad and Tate right here, not too far behind Andrew Rucker, who's the tail of that little group here.
Not to mention the lap cars that are involved, too.
Yeah, you got to think those lap cars are battling for position. That's a battle for 21st between Ultra, Rucker, and Wyatt Knadel. 3 guys that have had their own share of incidents tonight, but they've still got a battle.
7 saved it. Wow, I thought the 7 was going to spin again.
Yeah, Josh Hodges has had quite a night as David Tooker has a lap to go. Sign Alexander Gray has wrecked once again. Almost 9 seconds now back from the lead is R.C. Anderson. 17 back in Stanley. He's having a really solid run in 3rd. I mean, if I'm Ethan and I see those 2 ahead of me on the relative, I'm pleased in a sense, but obviously I'm also still angry that I'm not at the top of the podium.
Yeah, it's great that you're running 3rd to those guys, but when you look at the distance, you're like, man, he's got to go to work and figure out exactly where he is losing a bunch of time, because, yeah, he's 3rd, but, man, he's way back there. Like, you got to go figure that out.
Yeah,
to run for the win. Obviously, you're going to have to run top 5, so you don't need to rebuild the whole thing, but just fine-tune yourself.
Watch Chad try to make quick work of these lap cars here. We'll first get by. Ooh.
Oh, the 45 is going to spin?
Oh, no. Ooh.
Tate's off. Tate went off the course.
Way off back there. That should basically end Tate's chance at a top 5 in this one. He'll probably get swallowed up here by Crump here momentarily, but...
Nah, I think he's got a big enough gap over Crump, and he passed Crump and drove away, so he lost a lot of time to Chad there, but...
Chad's got to be a little frustrated right now, too, though. Andrew Rucker putting up a battle here, kind of holding him back as Garrison Hogan and Latham Joyner just break away from them. Up ahead,
yeah,
you know,
they are discussing the fact that Rucker just raced him that hard.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, that's definitely frustrating, Chris. Obviously, you know, Rucker is running his own race there. Like I say, he's battling Wyatt and Brandon for the 21st position, but you know, Chad's looking for that top 5, and he was right there up until that battle with Rucker. So, I mean, he's still not overly far behind, but that's still a lot to make up here with just 2.
Yeah, just a couple laps to go, and I think barring any major catastrophe, our top 3 are set. Top 4 really are probably set.
Yeah, Fode's got a good enough gap over Latham Joyner that he should be able to secure that top 4 position. Obviously, anything can happen still. As we almost saw Chad end up in a wreck there momentarily, or not too long ago. But I think the only real change we might see here is this battle for 5th. Latham Joyner is just able to take off a little bit more than what we're seeing out of Garrison Hogan at this point. Chad's absolutely sending it back there. Trying to catch them.
Yeah, Chad's just got to make sure and take what he's got here. You don't want to push too hard for some more. The last thing you want to do, if you... Oh, we got something going on out here. Not sure what it was, but there was some major frustration. All right, here we go. We got the 4. We've got, what is this the white flag lap?
We are 1 lap to go here, Chris.
All right, we've got the 3, the 4, and the 15. This is the battle for, what is that, 5th, 6th, and 7th right here.
Yeah, Latham Joyner currently in 5th there in the 03 machine. Garrison Hogan in the 4 and 6th, and Chad Frankenfield in the 15th, 7th, or in the 15 and 7th, as these guys are really close.
I think Chad's going to try to get around Garrison here. Chad's got a little bit better tires than these guys, I believe.
Jones off in the back.
As Tooker is going to come into the last corner, come out of the last corner. David Tooker is going to win.
David Tooker will drift it.
So he gets the win. RC's going to come off and finish 2nd. Something just happened in that battle for 5th there. 3rd place is going to be Ethan Stanley.
Chad and Garrison off there. Take a look at that once.
4th place, yeah. Fode's coming here. Looks pretty clean too. Car's very clean.
Sick drifts coming across the line.
Yeah, and Latham started the lap in a big battle. He's all by himself now, going to come across in P5 here as he comes into the last corner, out of the last corner.
Hey, Lytle gonna get 6th. He wasn't even in the picture a moment ago. But,
yeah, Tate's going to get 6th, followed by Chad, and then Crump. And then we get to Garrison, so not a great last lap for Garrison.
Vincent Isabella gonna take 10th there. Thomas Sherman coming around.
Yeah, Thomas Sherman coming around here. He got a lot of damage in that pit wreck earlier. And then we have Justin Vandermaal.
Yeah, good job by Justin Vandermeer there. A teammate on the cup side. Kudos to him for a nice 12th place finish.
Yeah, car looks clean. We didn't hardly mention his name, but here he comes with a clean car, and he's going to get P12.
Yeah, so what we'll do now, Chris, we'll just take a quick look and see what happened to Chad Frankenfield and Garrison Hogan to take them out of that battle there with Latham. Load up on the Whiskey Cast replay here, see what happened to these guys. See Chad coming in a lot harder than Garrison here.
Yeah.
Latham locks it up ahead.
Oh, Chad actually did a good job there. It was the 4. The 4 went to the throttle to try to stay beside him, and when he stabbed the throttle...
Oh, yeah, you could just see it step out there on Garrison. Definitely unfortunate for those guys. Obviously, I don't think there was any ill intent on that. It was just an unfortunate bit of looseness on exit there, but both of them were able to continue on after some damage. Definitely not the finishes they were hoping for.
Yeah, just hard racing for P5 at the end. Neither guy wanted to give.
Tucker burning it down in that Monster Energy machine here at the Red Bull Ring. Monster Energy GoPro.
Yeah, it was a great job by David Tooker. He took it to RC tonight for sure.
Absolutely. Chris, why don't we get ready here for some post-race interviews with these guys, as we do have two of our top 3 on pit lane ready to talk to us here. Stanley.
All right, we are now joined by Ethan Stanley. Great race, Ethan. You finished 3rd. Ran up there the whole race, clean race. There was a lot of stuff going on, but you managed to avoid the most of it. Take us through your night and how you ended up where you did.
Yeah, I mean, I accidentally took out RC at the beginning there, but that was just a 3 wide moment. And then from there is really just trying to hold on to the car, trying to keep the tires on it. Lost out on the fun caution and had to start 4th. So it was really an uphill battle from there. But just happy I was able to keep the car going and finish in 3rd.
Yeah, we saw that deal at the start of the race. You know, we saw that the caution came out. What was your take there on the caution coming out? There's been a lot of discussion, so I'm going to make sure and ask the three that we get to talk to tonight your opinion on the manual caution getting thrown, and if you were thinking about that before your last pit stop, not getting trapped by a caution since you already saw one early in the race.
I mean, I was okay with the caution. Gave me time to just change tires and get reorganized for the rest of the race. Yeah, I really had no problem with it. I mean, I'm come from the truck series where you already have the stage brakes anyway.
All right. Any questions, Robert, for Ethan?
Yeah, Ethan, obviously just a few weeks ago, we saw you finish on the podium in the Formula One race here at the Red Bull Ring. What is it about this track that really suits your style? Is this one of your favorite tracks on the service, or are you just pretty darn good here?
I mean, I like the track and all. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, but definitely a track I'm very familiar with for quite a few years and really enjoy it. And yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun here in the stock cars.
Yeah, absolutely, and you did a pretty darn good job. Obviously, had a few incidents early on, but you were able to battle back. Did you think you really had anything for those top two, or was third really all you could get out of this thing tonight?
I mean, maybe if we had a restart right at the end there, green, white, checkered, but that wasn't really going to come out. I mean, I was with their pace on fresh tires just as soon as the tires started to go. I had nothing for them.
Well, all right, Ethan, before we let you go, are there any teammates you want to shout out, sponsors you want to thank, anything like that?
Yeah, thanks to my team, Quantum Esports. Of course, to all my sponsors, 213 Simware, Killer Jerky, Freechy, and you got, thanks to my teammate, Chad Thornquist. He helped me out at the beginning of the race there. And yeah, thanks to you guys for making the broadcast happen.
Well, all right, Ethan. We look forward to seeing more of you as we go through the season. Great run tonight. Let's stack a few of these great runs together, and we'll see you next week from IRP.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, now we're joined by RC. I would like to call him the road course king, but RC kind of got beat tonight. It's first time in a long time I've seen you get beat there, and I thought you were going to get him after the pit stop, and you ultimately, started losing some more time, but you still finished second. Great recovery after that lap one incident. Take us through your night and what you were thinking there as you tried to run him down.
Yeah, I mean, it always seems to be me and him up front. Ethan gave us a good run for our money with pace. Like, he had really, really good pace. So did Thornquist, so did Fody, which is awesome to see that more battling up front. But Tucker just seemed to have a bit of an upper advantage. It was like a tenth or two each lap. I don't know where he was finding the time, but I just struggled a bit on this track. But yeah, after the turn one incident, I hate having to try to rush through the field. Try to get as far up before that, the fun flag. So then I'm able to restart up front, but I was able to get up to like 6 or 7, something like that. He was able to get away from me. I mean, I had a really good pit in and a really good out lap. So when he came out of the pits there, it was close. It was really close. I was like 2.5 seconds back or something like that. And then I just seemed to catch a lap car at the wrong spot every single corner. Like, I was never really on the straightaways. It was always like on corner entry, having to back up. And then I think I got into the back of one of them, and then it was up to 6 seconds. And by that point, it was just almost no hope. I tried to push too hard just to try to catch him. We're so close on pace. If we're not already next to each other, I'm just going to burn my tires trying to catch him. But overall, fun race. Wish I could have been battling up front the whole race. But yeah, I'm looking forward to another road course on Wednesday at Monza.
Yeah, I want to get your take on that first lap deal, too. Were you frustrated? Did you understand it? Like, what were you thinking as you got spun? And then your opinion on the caution getting thrown. You agree with the caution, disagree with the caution? Would you like to see more of it as we move forward from the admins?
The turn lap or turn one incident, I mean, Tucker and Tate are my teammates. And I knew Tucker was going to want the entry to turn one. I was going to give him the entry to turn one. So I told him to come up to the turn point. I would almost wish I would have had him stay in the middle of the track just so I wouldn't get swamped and stuck behind him, boxed in. But I just got boxed in, and Tate said he got just a bit too late on the brakes, trying to get inside Ethan. I didn't expect it to be 3 wide, but it's a tight corner. And I'm really interested to see how Monza's going to turn out with that turn one. That's going to be maybe a little bit of a nightmare. But I think you're going to see the same thing at Monza. You're going to see a caution on lap one, turn one. just because it's the nature of the corner. I mean, when I was restarting in the back, just on that restart after the yellow, you got to the hairpin. If you're any further back than about 15th, it was like parking the car in first gear, almost to the point where you'd have to put the clutch in because there's just so much backed up. But yeah, I think I agree with the yellow. I don't think I would have lost too much time if the yellow didn't come out. But yeah, I was in the middle of the track blocking on a blind corner on the entry to turn 1. I mean, all in all, I didn't get hit, so that's a positive thing. But yeah, it's kind of luck of the draw. I hate having to cram back through the field, but it was a fun night.
Well, all right, Robert, you got any questions here for RC?
Yeah, RC, you pretty much covered everything in your comments there. Obviously, used to these interviews by now, but with this being a track that's not commonly driven on by these stock cars, what was the biggest challenge for you tonight? Obviously, you do have a bit more experience than some of the others in the field, but even for you, there must have been something that was a little bit more challenging than anticipated.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more of the long flowing quarters. These are long flowing corners and then super tight hairpins. I remember when we drove these things at COTA, and those tight hairpins are super tough because you just can't put the power down. These things have a ton of horsepower, but you have no traction, even on new tires. And then you combine that with long flowing corners in these things where they don't like to turn. I always used to say this is like the Xfinity car doesn't do anything good. It doesn't turn, it doesn't stop, it doesn't go because you have no traction. So it's just kind of managing all of that. And some tracks suit it better than others. This one I feel like didn't suit the Xfinity car as much as I would have hoped it would have. It's just because it's a Formula One track and long floating high speed corners. It makes it tough for a stock car. And I think that's where Tooker had the advantage. He just was able to save the rears a bit more than me and able to keep the car in the long run. I think I had it for him in like the first 5 laps, but that long run, he was just able to save the rears there.
Absolutely, and you did a heck of a job tonight. Obviously, there's definitely partners that get you to the track. Why don't you give us your thank yous and shout out your sponsors here?
Yeah, of course, Pro Edge Racing. They're awesome. We always have a blast in Discord. And then Rayco Machine and Engineering Group. They're on all of my cars this season. So it's going to be an awesome season. First time I think I've had a different paint scheme since I joined Elite. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Thanks to you guys up here in the booth, Chad, who runs the league, and these are really fun.
Yep, it was fun to watch you tonight, RC. As you know, we can't let you go without talking about how you swept last week. So this was your first loss. Man, such a terrible night, finishing second. First time in, 2 weeks you haven't won a league race. Hopefully you can get back on track and have another good show Wednesday night. And now I don't know what would happen if you lost 2 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, I really tried to get that sweep. The Cup car at, Vegas? I was close. Just I blocked Fody a bit too late. He clipped the rear of me, and I went down through the apron, and I was able to salvage a 4th, but that would have been cool to sweep the entire week. I think we'll have a big bounce back at Monza. I know I struggled just a little bit with the next-gen car. I know Chad's really fast in it. It's just a different car to drive for the road course. It's a little more like a GT car, so everybody's a little closer. It's going to be a little tougher. I'm just interested to see what happens at Turn 1.
All right, RC, we'll see you Wednesday, and we'll be on the track with you, so maybe you can teach us something. But nice run tonight, and we look forward to seeing you next week as we get back to a short track IRP in Indianapolis.
Yep, thanks, guys.
All right, now we're joined by, I'm going to call him King Tooker. He was able to go out and take it to RC. David, I mean, you went out there, you won the pole, you've had a great start. Obviously, we had the caution at the start, but take us through your night and everything that you were thinking, especially after pit stops when it looked like RC was close enough to maybe worry you. You just drove off and left him.
Well, Chris, I wouldn't call myself the king quite yet. Thank you, I appreciate that, though. We had a really good run. Definitely felt like we had a lot of pace, especially late in the run, which I felt we were struggling the most. Compared to the other guys, but once the race came around, it was just a whole different ball game. Qualifying, you're pushing as hard as you can, and luckily we were able to do that and grab the pole by a couple tenths. But just transferring from qualifying to race pace was the biggest issue. Learning to back it up just a little bit more and just trying to limit the mistakes. Really, that's all you really try to do when you come to a road course is just keep it on the track, and you'll end up with the top 5, top 10 But I think our pace tonight was relatively good. Me and RC were pretty even in that last run. Just unfortunate that he got taken out in turn 1 on the first lap and had to fight his way through the field. I think it was like 27th to 2nd, which is phenomenal. But just I think that kind of set us up for the end of the race. Ethan Stanley was sticking with us in the first run. Unfortunately, he made a mistake, but that's just how it goes at these road course races.
Yeah, and like you said, you led a lot of this race, but it sounds like you were pretty aware of what was going on behind you. Can you take me through what you were thinking with the yellow? I know there's been a lot of discussion about, should the admin throw yellow, should they not? So what is your take on the yellow, and do you feel like we should see more of that or less of that moving forward?
I think it's a gray area for sure. I think the biggest thing is if the track's blocked and it's not going to be clear within the next 5 or 6 seconds, throw the yellow. And I didn't see the whole incident between RC and everyone else that was involved there, but from what I heard, it looked like he got dive bombed into turn 1 and got spun and was just sitting right in the middle of the track, which at that point I don't blame the admin for throwing a yellow. It kind of sucked having to catch up to the pace car a whole extra lap, but I think admin made the right call there. If the track's blocked, you throw the yellow. Unfortunately, we had an issue like that in Daytona where there probably should have been a yellow, but it wasn't. I think this time we got it right, and I hope we can get it right for moving forward.
So just more consistency, right? Like that's what you want. If you go back and look at this, there was another spot in the race that I feel like if you throw it at the first lap, you should throw it there too. Like just as someone who understands what it's like to drive one of these things, and obviously I participate in Wednesday nights again, but you just want consistency, and I don't think I'm off base by saying that, am I?
No, not at all. I think that's what we're shooting for. Like I said, it's just play it by ear, really. Like I said, it really just depends on the situation. I felt like I didn't see the second wreck. If you assume that the first one should have been a caution, and I saw that in my mirror, then probably the second one should have been as well. I think like I said, the biggest thing is just having consistency. I think that's how we avoid issues, especially at a road course. It could change the outcome of the race, but me personally, if it's an unsafe spin and it's in the middle of the track, you got to throw it.
Yeah, I agree. Robert, you got any questions here before we wrap this up with Tucker?
Yeah, David, obviously tonight you did a heck of a job here at the Rebel Ring in your Monster Energy sponsored car. Just looking ahead to Monza on Wednesday, how are you feeling entering that one? Do you think you're going to be the favorite there, or do you think RC might be a little bit closer?
It's definitely up in the air. Every road course we go to, it feels like me and RC are definitely there on top of each other every single race, and it just so happens to be that either it's me or him, something happens and we just can't seem to race it out clean and hard from the get-go all the way to the end. It's always something happening. Like today, him getting spun out of turn 1, that set him back so much, and it did a phenomenal job working through the field. But I think we're looking good for Monza. I have a lot of experience there, not so much on iRacing, but on other racing games, and just having that experience comes in handy so much. I think the biggest thing for Monza is just trying to make sure you not only get a good qualifying lap, but just making it through turn 1. If you guys don't know what Monza looks like, it's a tight chicane, and we got to file down. You could barely go side by side through there, and we got 35 cars trying to fit in there, let alone stock cars. So it'll be tough, but I'm looking forward to it, and I just hope me and RC or whoever it may be running at the front, we can have a clean battle.
Well, all right, David. Before we let you go, we want to thank your sponsors, your teammates, obviously, and all the shout-outs here that come along with winning the race.
Yeah, I just want to give a huge shout out to everyone at Pro Edge Racing. Put in a lot of work tonight. At least I did. I spent all of the night before and Friday night and Sunday night practicing. Unfortunately, I couldn't do more because I was racing the Miata out in the weekend. But it just everybody works so hard to be consistent on these road courses, especially in the Pro Edge Garage. You know, we look at these road course races as a chance to gain points in other tracks that we can't. So, and me being as decent as I am on the road courses, I always look forward to these things, just trying to get as much ground and try to get the win as much as possible. But like I said, everybody at Pro Edge Racing, everybody in Elite that makes the thing run as good as it does, TA Services, Blue Egg, Brizzy, KMP Designs, there's so many people that help run this thing to make it run as well as it does. Mr. Goodies Goodies, shout out Michael Goodman for that. All of our admin, everybody, all you guys up in the booth, you guys help us a ton by putting on these broadcasts to help us showcase our skills out in the virtual racetrack, and couldn't be thankful enough for that.
Well, all right, David, good luck Wednesday, and good luck next week as we go to a short track, IRP. Should be an exciting race next week, and maybe this is the beginning of a championship run for you. We'll see, but thanks for coming up here and giving us some time, and good luck moving forward with the rest of the season.
Thank you, boys. Appreciate it.
Well, it ended up being an exciting race for us tonight, Robert. We had lots of different strategy, got us a yellow. Everything ended up being not too crazy at the end, but what are your final thoughts for the race tonight?
Yeah, it was definitely one heck of a race here tonight, Chris. Obviously, exciting to see guys like David Tucker and R.C. Anderson do their thing, but Ethan Stanley as well did a heck of a job. Latham Joyner, Tyler Fody, everyone up there, and everyone throughout the field. Obviously, it was a great night, as we'll just quickly run the results through the screen here. You could take a look and pause and find your favorite driver. But definitely a great night, and I'm looking forward to Wednesday night at Monza.
Yeah, and real quick here, I gotta apologize for dropping that Chad bomb there. I was just taken back by how much ground was gained there in that pit cycle, and kind of got a knee-jerk reaction there, so I apologize for dropping the Chad bomb, and hopefully nobody got offended. If you did, like I said, I apologize. So have to move forward there, and have to be more careful moving forward, Robert. I can't be reacting like that.
Absolutely. It up. We're gonna have to get the soap out, Chris, but I think that just about does it for us here at Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, I gotta give a shout out to all our sponsors here. Everybody at the Elite Racing Network, from Dave on down. You know, you broadcast this thing. You know, this doesn't happen without you, and of course, none of this happens without Dave and Chad Frankenfield putting on a great league. And then Mrs. Goodies Goodies. This was the Mrs. Goodies Grand National Series. And if you are interested in finding some hooded towels, handmade items for your babies, kids, you and your home, you can contact her at miregoody@hotmail.com. And then, of course, our wonderful premier partners here, everybody at TA Services, Blue Egg Marketing, Britzy Cam. All this doesn't happen without our great sponsors. So thanks for tuning in tonight. Tune back in on Wednesday night for the Cup race, Friday night for IndyCar. Sunday, we've got trucks and F1, and then we'll be back with you next Monday from IRP. So make sure you catch all your racing and get all your racing fill on the Elite Racing Network all week long.